Have you ever felt tired in a way that sleep can't fix? Not the kind of tired that comes from lifting boxes or walking miles, but the kind that comes from thinking too much. Thinking about that one conversation you had 5 years ago. Thinking about what someone said about you. Thinking about what might go wrong tomorrow, next month, or 10 years from now. If your mind feels like a room with too many voices talking at once, this story is for you. Because there was once a man who lived inside that same noise, and one ordinary day, he found a way out. In a dusty village where the sun painted everything gold by evening, there lived a young man named Kabir. He wasn't old, but his face carried lines that didn't belong to his age. He worked at a small shop, folding clothes and counting coins, but his mind was never in the shop. It was somewhere else, always running after the past or chasing the future. At night, when the world went silent, Kabir's mind became loudest. Memories he wished he could erase, worries he couldn't solve, questions that had no answers. He would stare at the ceiling and ask himself, why can't I just be still? One afternoon, a customer at the shop noticed Kabir staring blankly at a wall. The customer was an old woman with kind eyes and a voice like warm tea. She said, "Son, your body is here, but where is your mind?" Kabir blinked and tried to smile, but the smile didn't reach his eyes. The woman leaned closer and said, "There's a man who lives by the lake. He doesn't speak much, but those who visit him come back lighter. Maybe you should go." Kabir almost laughed. What could a stranger by a lake teach him about his own mind? But that night, the ceiling felt closer than usual. The thoughts were louder. So the next morning, before the sun had fully risen, Kabir walked out of the village toward the lake. The path was not hard, but it felt long because Kabir's mind was still running. By the time he reached the lake, the water was so still it looked like glass. Sitting under a tree was an old man with white hair, not moving, just watching the water. Kabir stood there for a moment, unsure what to say. The old man turned slowly and gestured for Kabir to sit beside him. They sat in silence for a long time. Kabir felt strange. His mind wanted to speak, to explain, to ask for help, but the silence held him. Finally, the old man picked up a small stone and dropped it into the lake. Ripples spread across the water, circling outward. The old man waited until the water became still again. Then he picked up another stone and dropped it. Ripples again. Then stillness. He looked at Kabir and said, "Your mind is like this lake. Thoughts come like stones. They create ripples, but the lake does not hold on to them. It returns to stillness. You, however, collect the stones. You keep them in your pocket. You carry them everywhere. That is why you are tired." Kabir frowned. "But how do I stop collecting? The thoughts keep coming. I can't control them." The old man smiled softly. "You don't need to stop the stones from falling. You only need to stop holding on to them. Let the ripples come. Let them go. The lake does not try to be still. It simply returns to stillness when it is not disturbed. You are the same." Kabir sat there, watching the lake. For the first time, he noticed how the water accepted everything: wind, stones, light, and always returned to calm. He realized he had been fighting his thoughts, trying to push them away, but the lake showed him something different. Peace was not the absence of ripples. Peace was the return. As the sun began to set, Kabir stood up. He didn't feel magical or suddenly perfect, but he felt something he hadn't in years. Lightness. He bowed to the old man and walked back toward the village. The thoughts still came, but now he knew. He didn't have to carry them. Weeks passed. Kabir still worked at the shop, still had worries, still remembered the past, but something had shifted. When a thought came, he would picture the lake, the stone, the ripples, and then the stillness, and he would whisper to himself, "Let it go." Slowly, his mind became quieter. Not silent, but quieter, and that made all the difference. If this story stirred something inside you, take a moment to like and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because peace is not a destination you arrive at, it is a practice you return to again and again, like the lake returning to stillness. Subscribe to this channel for more stories that help you breathe a little deeper and think a little clearer. Until next time, let the ripples come, and let them go.